So one destination on the journey for many trans people is the decision of whether or not to go on hormones. In this episode of Stacy Links Presents, I'm going to talk to you about hormone replacement therapy. I'll be right back. Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Stacy. In this episode, I wanted to talk to you about hormone replacement therapy. And in the case of this episode, I want to specifically focus just on M to F hormone therapy. If you're a transgender person just starting out, looking for tips with fashion, makeup, and jewelry, or if you're just looking to follow along with my transition to see my experiences and to compare it with your own, be sure to subscribe to my channel and show your support. Also be sure, if you're not following me on social media, I'm on every social media platform. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and I'm also on Patreon. If you subscribe to my Patreon all access level, you will have access to exclusive behind the scenes pictures and videos that I won't post anywhere publicly on social media. You will also get access to watch all of my YouTube episodes ad-free, plus get early access to future episodes 24 hours before they go live to the public. And if you become an all-access subscriber before December 27th, I will give you an exclusive shout-out video on all my social media platforms that support video. That includes Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also YouTube. So before I continue, I want to state a little disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, and I have not even been in for my first consult appointment. I'm just doing this episode as an informative episode, as the topic is very hot and has been hot for quite some time, and I thought that I would put in some of my own information as well. Alright, so I'm going to use Wikipedia to help us along here, as I did in my laser hair removal video. I have it up on my screen on this side here. So just as a definition, for anybody who's not sure, Wikipedia titles it transgender hormone therapy. So basically it means the affirming of hormones to align with a person's gender identity. So there are a number of places in the world that still require that gender dysphoria be a prerequisite for going on hormone therapy. Now, where I live, it is not a prerequisite anymore. The only prerequisite to going on hormone therapy in my province is to declare yourself as trans and to want to go on hormone therapy, and then to get the consult and be healthy enough. So once I get the first consult, then I'll know for sure whether or not I will actually be able to move in that direction. Once I see the doctor after my first blood tests, I will be able to know for sure if I will be able to go on estradiol, and the other one is spirulactin, but there are other anti-androgen drugs that you can take as well. This is the effects of feminizing hormone therapy, and this is time expected to onset and maximum expected effect time. And then this chart, or this column here, says whether it's permanent or reversible. Now there are a number of things. Breast development is permanent. Thinning or slowed hair growth and body hair growth is reversible. Reversal of male pattern baldness, softening of the skin, redistribution of body fat, decreased muscle mass and strength, those are all reversible here. The next one, widening and rounding of the pelvis, that is a permanent effect. Change in mood, decreased sex drive, decreased spontaneous morning erections, or, inability to have an erection. Those, they say, are reversible. But here's the thing, though. A lot of these things aren't necessarily a thing with all trans people on hormones. So it very much depends on your own experiences with it, your own body chemistry, your own psychology. And there are a number of things here that are really not understood enough. But one thing that's for certain for F to M trans folks is that your voice doesn't change when you take estrogen. Only testosterone causes vocal changes. So F to M trans people, when you take testosterone over the course of time, your voice does tend to deepen. But for us M to F trans folks, we have to train our voices and train the way we talk to sound more feminine. And that is a cause of dysphoria for a lot of trans girls out there. Alright, so now the next chart here goes into a list of risks, possible risks that are associated with hormone replacement therapy. I'm showing both charts here just for reference, but I'm only going to go over the F to M chart here. The likely increased risk of going on estrogen is venous thermobembolic disease. I'm not sure exactly what that is. You can do a little bit more research in that. Cardiovascular events, increased triglycerides. Then it says transient increase in liver enzymes and gallstones. So these are some serious effects. So just a few things to be mindful of. Then possible increased risk of type 2 diabetes, hypertension, increased prolactin. So the hormone prolactin is what is produced in the body to increase breast growth. And if there's a hyper increase in prolactin in the body, it could, in theory, cause lactation of the breasts. Because in pregnant women, prolactin is one hormone that kicks off really fast later during pregnancy in order to prep the breasts for breastfeeding and will also create the breast milk as well. So a hyper increase in prolactin can cause leakage. But I haven't heard anything about that from the trans community. As I have understood, it is extremely rare. So I guess I'll just have to find out for myself when I finally do go on HRT. So then another part of this article talks about fertility consideration, and there hasn't been enough study into what hormone therapy itself, what effect it has on a person's fertility. Now, I have seen many reports online from people who are, either F to M or M to F, and have had children while on hormone therapy. I've actually heard of a few F to M trans folks who have actually had children while on testosterone therapy. I've also heard of a lot of trans girls, non-binary trans girls, who are on estrogen, who also have had kids while on estrogen. So I guess your mileage varies, really. Again, it's all based on your own body chemistry, how you react to everything, so it's always a hit or miss thing. It's never a guarantee of what's going to happen or what's not going to happen, except for physical and emotional changes. Everything else is just a maybe. So the last thing I wanted to cover in this episode here, I wanted to talk about the different medications that a trans person could go on. And now, again, this isn't a comprehensive list. This is just Wikipedia. There could be a lot more other stuff. There could be new stuff coming out on the market. I don't know. I haven't done enough research into this. I just want to wait to see what my doctor would recommend and see what they would think would be best for me to go on. But for the most part, there are a number of different types of estradiol that you could take. And then in the anti-androgen zone, there are several others. Spirulactin is one of the more common ones. Cypretone acetate is another fairly common one. Right? And then the list goes on here. And then you move into more advanced hormones after you've hit 10 or 3 M to F. You could start taking progesterone. And oftentimes it's based on how your doctor perceives your transition. But once in a while you can convince a doctor to just give you a trial of it to see how it affects you. Because they say that progesterone has a very potent effect. And I've heard people say that when you first start going on it, it can cause all kinds of mental and emotional issues until you get stable and get used to it. So, you can see from this list here that there are a number of different types of progesterone that a person could take. There are other types of inhibitors that can be taken as well. So there is a lot of information out there, specifically on Wikipedia here. If you wanted to read a little bit further, there is a lot of information talking about all different types of hormones that a trans person can go on. And once again, here's the chart from the previous page here. Down here it talks about in detail about physical changes, breast development, skin changes, hair, eye changes, fat changes, skeletal changes, unaffected characteristics. HRT does not reverse bone changes that have already been established by puberty. Consequently, it does not affect height except for the aforementioned reasons, the length of the arms, legs, hands, and feet, or the width of the shoulders and rib cage. However, details of bone shape change throughout life, with bones becoming heavier and more deeply sculptured under the influence of androgens, and HRT does prevent such changes from progressing further. So, it does stop that from continuing. So, mental changes, there are mood changes that will happen. There are a number of people that report a significant drop in libido, sexual urge. Not in every case though. There are many cases that I've heard that it doesn't affect it at all. Cardiovascular effects can increase blood clotting. Gastrointestinal effects can increase your risk of gallbladder disease. Possible cancer risk. So there are a number of risks. But for the most part, most people don't experience the greater risks of HRT and definitely have generally a much better life psychologically and emotionally overall. Even though we still have the hardships of people and the hardships of being trans, it does help a lot of people more than it hinders them. So thanks for watching my video. Make sure you go down below and hit the thumbs up button and drop me a comment. Tell me about your experiences with hormone replacement therapy. Or, if you have no experience with HRT, drop a question for somebody to answer, and myself or somebody else will be able to comment for you. We'll see you next time. Bye!